Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Breaking Lies. My name is Samir Hakim. We are recording this on the Thursday after the Tuesday in which Trump said that he would annihilate and destroy Iran at 8 p.m. US time. And a few minutes just before that deadline, he said that he was going to agree to a deal that included a 2-week ceasefire, a deal that was facilitated by Pakistan. Those negotiations are set to go tomorrow, on Friday. So by the time you watch this episode, many things may have changed. The basis of those negotiations are the 10 points that Iran has said that they want to negotiate on. The very 10 points that Trump said that he was not willing to negotiate on. That was before the Tuesday deadline. Have a look at this post that he put on his social media account where he says that he wants long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. And then he says we received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate with. Interestingly, not so long ago, he said that he wants unconditional surrender from Iran.
President Trump responded saying, quote, "There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender."
No deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. That's what he started off with. And now he's negotiating based on a framework that Iran is dictating with 10 points. It's important to note here that while Trump may have started with unconditional surrender, Iran did say to them during the war that we have 5 points. He didn't like it, threw it in the bin, and now they've come back with 10 points. Now he's being forced to agree to this. Here's a video that shows some of those points. Let's have a look.
So, a sustainable peace to start negotiations is our first condition. The second is that the aggressor should be known and should be punished. The third is that they should pay compensation and reparations for the damage caused by the war. Some of the things that they did, such as the killing of the supreme leader, cannot be compensated. But the material damage, they should pay reparations for. The next point is that the sanctions should be lifted. They must recognize our right to peaceful nuclear energy. These are the conditions that Iran has today. So anytime they meet these conditions, we can start negotiations, because Iran is not looking for war. But at this very moment, as we are talking to each other, we cannot see that these conditions are being met.
It was the Americans themselves that decided to delay and not accept Iran's conditions until such time that it was just before the deadline, to make it look like it was Trump's threats that was the cause of the ceasefire, and the Iranians are accepting the deal. So we see that the Americans are the ones that are delaying accepting Iran's conditions. So what are these 10 conditions that Iranians have set? Let's have a look. The guarantee of non-aggression, the sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, acceptance of the right to uranium enrichment, lifting of primary sanctions and lifting of secondary sanctions, termination of UN Security Council resolutions, termination of the IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, payment of repatriations, withdrawal of US military forces, and the cessation of war on all fronts, including Lebanon. This, my friends, is beautiful. This is art. Look at this. He starts off by saying we're going to end the Iranian civilization, right? He's not talking about the government or the military. He's talking about everything. Their poetry, their architecture, their kebabs, the whole lot. We're talking about 3,000 years of being annoying to the Greeks. And he gives them a deadline. 8 p.m. US time. TikTok Persia. Iran, meanwhile, does not flinch. Takes out this piece of paper and says, here's something we prepared earlier. These are the conditions of our peace. Thanks anyway. So what happens? Minutes before everything was going to end, civilization was going to end, and he was going to send Iran back to the Stone Ages, bombs dropping everywhere, he comes out and he says, hang on a minute, I agree with these 10 conditions. These are the same conditions that the Iranians gave the Americans before they threatened to delete them from the timeline. The same ones. So let me translate exactly what happened. You're going to surrender unconditionally. Nope. Okay, fine, I'll give you what you want, but I'll announce it just before the deadline so it makes it sound like I won. That's not negotiating. That's like holding a gun to someone's head, counting down from 10, and then when he gets to 2 saying, hey, I like your taste in curtains, can I move in? Congratulations, Mr. Trump. Civilization still standing. Dignity on life support. Now let's assume these conditions remain in place, and that's not certain, although Iran has said that they have to accept all of the conditions for things to go forward. What has America been able to achieve out of this war? The first one is regime change. Now even Trump said that he was sending in weapons to the Iranians in order to help the people revolt against the government.
If they protest, if they go out in the streets, they will be immediately shot. They don't have guns. You know, we sent some guns, but the group that was supposed to give, which I said would happen to my people, I said it, I called it exactly. We sent guns, a lot of guns. They were supposed to go to the people so they could fight back against these thugs. You know what happened? The people that they sent them to kept them because they said, what a beautiful gun. I think I'll keep it.
So they wanted to send a lot of guns to the Iranians, right? So they can revolt against the government. And Mossad was directly involved. These tweets here, look at this. We are with you, not just from afar, and verbally, we are with you in the field as well. That's what Mossad is saying. And have a look at this message from Pompeo. Former US Secretary of State and ex-CIA Director Mike Pompeo encourages protests in Tehran, saying, Happy New Year to every Iranian in the streets, also to every Mossad agent walking beside them. Not only that, but they also wanted to break up the Islamic Republic of Iran. Have a look at this video.
Do you think the map of Iran looks the same after this is all done?
That I can't tell you. Probably not.
Let's have a reality check here. Regime change, yes. Who's the new leader? Khamenei. Wait, I thought you said regime change. It's like, yes, he's much younger. Oh, this is fantastic. This just keeps getting better. The US had before, and let me just quote here, astonishing military hegemony. They said everything to Iran, everything they had. And what happened? The USS Abraham Lincoln, a destroyer, mind you, fled more than 1,000 kilometers. 1,000! That's not just tactical retreat. That's going over and saying, hey, I'm going to the Maldives, see ya. And the USS Gerald R. Ford, the $13 billion floating city of freedom. The pride of the fleet. What happened to that? Small laundry problem, and it goes off to Greece. Leaves the Red Sea. Not just any country, to Greece. Greece! So let me get this straight. Two of America's most advanced warships. One runs away 1,000 kilometers, and the other goes to a Mediterranean vacation spot. And we're supposed to believe that Iran's capabilities have been destroyed. And it gets better. They keep saying that they've destroyed Iran's military power. And yet 13 American bases in different countries, not in the same place, in different countries, have been destroyed by Iran. That's not destroying the military power of Iran. That's saying I won while being carried out on a stretcher. And their air defense, completely destroyed, right? Remember Isfahan and their little operation that they were trying to sneak in? Well, that failed. And on the very last day of the war, when America was declaring victory, Iran releases a new technology, bipod launchers that fire 2 missiles at once. So America's powerful military hegemony has now been humbled by a country that has bipod launchers and its destroyers that now have a frequent flyer account with Greek airlines. The third mission they had was the nuclear program in Iran.
We wiped out the nuclear capability of Iran, obliterated it.
It was obliterated like nobody's ever seen before.
I would say it's set back permanently. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. They're never going to have nuclear.
You obliterated their nuclear sites last summer with your strikes. Then how can you argue it was an imminent threat now?
Oh, we hit them so hard, we obliterated them. But that doesn't mean with the right equipment, you can't dig down and go get it.
Oh, come on! This is just embarrassing now. In June 2025, in the 12-day war, you said that you've destroyed it under the rocks, obliterated completely. They don't have a nuclear program anymore. And a few days later, you go back and say, we're going to have to attack them again. Why? Because of the same things that you said that you destroyed, the nuclear program. What's going on? Did you destroy it or did you not destroy it? That's like putting your own kitchen on fire and then calling the fire brigade and say, I've put it out. But a few minutes later you say, no, I need more hoses actually, please do come. It's like, which one is it? So what was the result of the second attack? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Iran still has the right to enrich uranium. The Americans didn't get any uranium out of Iran. And remember that Isfahan operation, that big sneaky thing that they were supposed to do and go into Isfahan and take out the uranium? That was a big operational failure. It's a disastrous failure. That's not a military success. That's like going into a budget meeting, spending $500 million, and you achieve less than nothing. I just want to clarify something here. Iran has always said that we don't want to make a nuclear bomb. Always. And there's a fatwa. There's legislation against it. So they're not wanting or willing to make a nuclear bomb. All they want the nuclear technology for is civilian purposes. That being said, that's what they already are getting. So the Americans have just spent all this time and energy and money trying to prevent Iran from doing something that they already don't want. Now the fourth goal, get this, is the Strait of Hormuz. Now let's stop, just rewind. Before this war, the Strait of Hormuz was open. There were no fees, no tolls, no toll booths, nothing like that. Oil was flowing in and out of the Strait of Hormuz without any problems. So he's just created himself a problem that wasn't there before. And get this, a sitting US congressman is saying that Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz is more important than owning a nuclear bomb. It's more important than having an atomic bomb. And I'm going to quote here, he said this on Fox News. He said that the Strait of Hormuz is even more strategically vital to them than the development of a nuclear weapon. So before the war, they didn't have control over the Strait of Hormuz. So let's sum up this entire spectacular episode of America Learns Nothing. Before the war, the strait was open, Iran didn't have any nukes, it was selling some oil, and the US had this powerful military hegemony. After the war, Iran is now in control of the strait and is charging up to $2 million per ship to pass through. It doesn't have any nukes because it never wanted it. It's selling more oil than ever, and the US destroyers are now vacationing somewhere in Greece. So Trump has started off threatening to end an entire civilization and ends up negotiating on the points that Iran has given him, including reparations and the toll booth of the Strait of Hormuz. That's not a victory, that's not a draw, that's paying someone to punch you and then thanking them for it afterwards. You know what my problem is here? My problem is they've gone from maximum pressure to minimum dignity. And that dignity is sinking even lower. In this very ceasefire that we're in now, supposedly, Israel is striking Lebanon and killing innocent civilians and children. And you know what's even worse? The Americans are now even saying, we didn't agree to those 10 points. That's low. More on that later. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.